always think Harry was so popular as a working royal for sort of maybe one of the reasons, almost the same reason that he can be unpopular now, is that he didn't hold back. You know, he was always, in every situation, you felt that he was really being very authentic and very honest. And I think sometimes his PR people were like, okay, like, that's enough. But because he would, if you were talking to him, he would just talk, you know, and he would tell you what he thought. And I think that was what people liked about him. And obviously, you know, he's been incredibly open since he left the royal family, and that has turned some people off. But he was, you know, there's always been a real authenticity to him. And I think that he and Meghan, when they were doing trips together, it felt very powerful. You know, it did. It felt very powerful, and it felt like a really exciting time for the royal family to have this couple. We sort of talk about them as appealing to a new generation, which is interesting because they're pretty much the same age as William and Kate, but somehow it felt like they had this whole younger audience that they were appealing to. And I thought, you know, when they went to South Africa, when Meghan, right at the start of that trip, she made a speech about being a woman of colour, and it, you know, just felt really powerful. And that whole tour of South Africa felt so positive. And then at the very end, the story completely changed because they announced that they were suing the Mail on Sunday. And that was really, I think, the start of everything shifting. And it was the start of, I think, the floodgates opening and all of that stuff that had been simmering underneath the surface about how unhappy they were, about how angry they were with the media. That all kind of started from then on to really come out. And that was the point at which what the royal household has sort of contained a bit, the true strength of the fallouts and everything just kind of, it just all came out after that.
But in many ways, that's kind of when they took control, or they attempted to take control, and now they are in control of their, you know, what they're doing by you know, taking Archwell and doing a tour of Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, I always said, you know, people would say about them, why are they going out and being public? Because they wanted privacy. You know, this is hypocritical. That was one of the accusations that was always thrown at them. And I always said, you know, they never said that they wanted to have a totally private life. They actually said they wanted a different kind of public life. They wanted to have control. They didn't want to have this thing of being taxpayer funded hanging over their heads that made them feel that they had obligations and had to agree to certain types of access from the media that they didn't want to have. And they wanted to set up their own thing and to have control, and they do have that now. I think the question is whether or not they can be as powerful as they were when they were in the royal family, because the weight that they had behind them of the institution and of the access to everything the British government has access to is obviously very different to what they have now. But they have achieved what they wanted to achieve.
Just finally on Colombia, we mentioned it earlier about the invite, and they could have. We don't know. They might have. I've heard rumours about invites to other places. But when we look at Colombia, and I've been to Colombia, it's a lovely country. The people are wonderful. But when you look at the politicians, you know, that are involved, just a quick list. And I don't want to insult Colombia in any way, but Health Minister is under investigation for allegedly using planes during a campaign that's belonged to a convicted drug runner. Foreign Minister suspended alleged corruption. President's son charged with taking cash from drug traffickers. President's brother accused of seeking payments from a jailed drug dealer for judicial benefits. And the president himself faced allegations he cheated on his wife with a transgender TV host. They've got to be careful about what they're doing and who they're accepting invites. I mean,
yeah, I mean, we don't know.
Is North Korea going to invite them one day? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think that would. But we don't know who they're going to meet, obviously. But I think, you know, I mean, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, I always struggled not to call her Countess of Wessex, but yeah, Duchess of Edinburgh, she met Francia Marquez, the Vice President, as well. But of course, she was there meeting her, representing Britain. And so it was very clear what Sophie represented, and it was not the interests of the Colombian government or the, you know, she was clear that she was representing Britain at that time. And I think that's what the working royals have. It's that their message, their purpose, their representation is very clear when they go to other countries. And with Harry and Meghan, it's not quite clear what Archewell's stance on lots of things is, you know, in the same way.
100%, totally agree with you. I'm seeing this as almost like when Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie would go abroad and do certain events and do speeches and try to do philanthropic kind of work. It feels like that they're just putting themselves into the celebrity sphere, but reminding everyone, hey, we are also royal as well.
But there's no doubt it will attract so much attention, and that's the thing, that it's like, what is the purpose of that attention, and how thought through is how that's being channelled, you know?
Yeah. Just quickly, I want to touch on one thing that they did announce. You know, they did a video recently, did a video interview in America. They talked about a new scheme called the Parents Network. I think this is about online bullying, and it's a serious issue. You know, in 2024. I mean, these are things that are affecting families all over the world. What do you think of this project? I mean, Meghan's complained or mentioned about the way that she felt she's been bullied in the past, or the problems they've both mentioned about issues about bullying and misbehaviour online. Do you think this is one of their projects that you could see succeeding?
I mean, I will say this is a subject that for me right now is so important for me, because I have a daughter who's just turned 11 and she's going to go to secondary school in September, and this smartphone thing, you know, can I have a smartphone? Can I have social media? Is a question that parents get asked around this time. And I have been reading up a lot on the studies that are available about the dangers of social media and the information that has started to come through in the past few years since more children have had access to social media. And it is really terrifying how big an implication this can have on children. And I think this cause is absolutely brilliant. I think it's exactly the right kind of thing to be highlighting. And the Parents Network, it seems to be it's an organisation that parents who have had children whose lives have been affected. Some of them have lost their lives, some of them have had terrible life-changing experiences as a result of social media, can join as a support network. That's what it is. When you read the case studies, they're so moving, as they seem to all be US based. So I don't know if this organisation is solely US based or if it's international as well. But
it seems very small at the moment. I think they even spoke about that in the interview, that it did seem to be quite a small
I
setup.
think it's a really important cause for them to be championing. The question is, has it had the attention that it deserves? Will it get the ongoing attention that it deserves? Does that matter? I mean, sometimes it's not about the attention. Sometimes it's about what the project is doing. And you have a lot of these projects. Same with some of William and Kate's projects. They go along in the background and they're doing really good work, and it's not, everyone isn't necessarily talking about it all the time, but it's really important. So it could be that, but again, with them, I wonder whether it's something they could have made more impact with talking about as working royals. But I think it's really important. I think it's really important, and you know, the fact they're talking about it, I think I think it's something to be really worried about, actually. And I guess maybe I'm at that point because of my daughter's age where I'm really thinking about it, and I don't know if everyone is, but that's how I feel.